Hi everyone, welcome to our new video on Indian stock market investing. Whoever are new, hi, this is Ganesh Komma, a finance and a stock market coach. I've been in the investing and trading segment for the last 15 years and have been building a community of investors and traders who combine fundamentals along with technicals. So today's topic of discussion would be what are the growth perspectives in Indian stock market over the next decade by 2035? What are all the perspectives? What are the sectors? What are the stocks? And is India entering into a bull market? Is the topic of our discussion. And today, yes, we will be using a lot of sectors, lot of stocks, many case studies we will be discussing in today's session, right? So yes, the question right now is India in a bull market, right? Is this the mother of all the bull markets? And by 2035, for the next one decade or for the next 10 years, what are all the growth perspectives we will be looking at? And we'll take some cues from McKinsey report as well, where McKinsey predicts India is at the dawn of a massive economic transformation. And also we'll be looking at broadly some key sectors. First of all, a quick disclaimer. Yes, we are SEBI registered entity. So any stocks or sectors which we discuss here, do not consider them as any recommendation or a tip or a suggestion. Some of the stocks I would have personally had some exposure into it, or we would have discussed with our community of members. So don't consider them as any recommendation. Rather, use it as a case study. Use it for educational purpose, right? So do not consider any stocks which are quoted here as a recommendation. Rather, use that as an illustration rather than a recommendatory kind of a mode. So first of all, if you look at the Indian context, right? Building another India inside India, right? So for the next decade, there are like many cues which say that we are going to add another $5 trillion into our economy. Now a quick data fact. If you see right now, September 2025 quarter, the domestic institutional investors, DII, it can be your mutual fund companies, your insurance related companies, your wealth management firms, all the domestic investors, the retail individuals, right now for September 2025 quarter, we have seen the penetration of DIIs into the NSE listed companies is around 18.26%, whereas FII is around 16.71%. So between FII versus DII, DII has surpassed your foreign institutional investors. So earlier there were talks or there were pointers which states FIIs will decide the Indian market move, but now that's not the fact, because DIIs are so strong. Every month the SIPs inflows, the systematic investment plan inflows itself is to the tune of around 20 to 30,000 crores which are entering, right? So this is a very strong phase where the DIIs are holding up. And once FIIs start buying, once FIIs start entering into the market, it will be a potential bull run, right? Potential bull run. And if you see the screen, as we observe, right, the transformation in IT services, we are seeing electrical vehicles, right? In the automobiles, we are seeing a very good move. On AI, artificial intelligence, information technologies, semiconductors, even in space, defense, renewables, e-commerce, which is on the consumption sector, mainly on the banking, right? Banking sector is also moving very well. So all these sectors are providing massive opportunities in the Indian stock market. And the jobs which these sectors could generate will be to the tune of around 10 crores new jobs. And now, if you look at services related companies, majority of your technology related companies, right, IT related companies are moving from services to innovation kind of a companies. And you look at stocks like TCS, right? Companies like TCS have already announced a major exposure into the AI. And now coming to the EV, electrical vehicles and batteries, they are projected to grow by 6 times by 2035. And India is the third largest car market globally. And if you look at EVs, electrical vehicles, we are seeing a rapid growth. And if you see where the money is going into lithium ion cell manufacturing, nationwide charging networks, right? There has been a very rapid growth there. Battery recycling technologies and EV components also, we are growing. And if you look at EV or battery space, we are seeing a rapid expansion happening. Some of the beneficiaries would be in the four-wheelers, right? Like Tata Motors, M&M. And even in three-wheelers, stocks like Bajaj Auto, TVS Motors, even on technicals, if you see, TVS Motor is also trending very good. And on the batteries, yes, we have Exide, Amar Raja batteries, right? Even investing heavily into the EV charging network, we have Adani Green, Tata Power, and even companies like Reliance Industries are setting up gigafactories, right? There has been a strategic investment going into your battery manufacturing, aiming for integrated new energy solutions. And as we spoke a couple of minutes before related to AI, there has been a rapid expansion going ahead. And now, is AI going to take over everything? No. AI enabled sectors will be benefiting. And even if you look at data centers for AI, artificial intelligence, even like ChatGPT and all, there is a huge requirement of power. So data driven companies are also leading the pack. And in India, data centers wise, we are like underpenetrated compared to countries like US. We are like underpenetrated. There is a huge opportunities there. And with the recent consumer sector boom, be it GST, Goods and Services Tax, version 2.0, yes, I call it as version 2.0, where there are the rates slabs have been reduced, and we have done one detailed discussion in one of our earlier session, and it is already there in our YouTube channel. You can refer that. So on the consumer spending, there has been a very rapid kind of decisions that are being taken. And if you look at e-commerce, the online shoppers earlier in 2014 used to have around 5 crore. Now in 2025, around 28 crores are the online shoppers, and the projected online shoppers by 2035, in the next 10 years, we can see around 60 crores would be the online shoppers. And now majorly the shift from English speaking consumers, it's more or less shifting to English speaking rural buyers, right? Even in rural areas, it's penetrating. And some of the listed players, be it like Policy Bazaar, Zomato, right? Your food catering, even Nykaa are also picking up. And as you see the trend, there are more and more IPOs specifically in the platform related business or consumer related companies are also coming out. Now coming to semiconductors, the expected growth potential by 2025 in the semiconductor space is around 3 times. Earlier, we were called as software services hub. India was well known for software services hub. Now we are slowly moving into manufacturing chips. And even there is a rapid expansion that is coming up in the AI. Companies like Tata, Vedanta and Micron are also establishing semiconductor fabrication plants with up to 50% government support. And when India is aiming at design and manufacturing chips, we are slowly moving from full-fledged vertical integration, and we are moving just beyond assembly. We are moving into the manufacturing hub as well, right? And the employment opportunities among all these sectors we have discussed till now, there is an employment opportunity of around 10 crore jobs here, right? 10 crore jobs. And segments like AI engineers and data scientists, there is a huge requirement there. Semiconductor designers and fabrication technicians, biotech researchers, clinical specialists, electrical vehicle engineers and battery chemists, right? As well as space system. If you look at defense, yes, defense has always been a prime focus for the Indian government, and even space system engineers, cyber security, e-commerce specialists in all the consumer related companies, right? And even banking, the public sector unit banks, private sector banks, we have a huge potential. And in the renewable energy, there is a new transformation happening in India. And if you look at the data, right? If you look at the data, the growth rate which Indian economy is moving is at around 7%, which is the highest growth rate. Even if you see many developed and developing economies, we are at the highest growth rate of 7%. And if you take some data pointers, all the Indian companies, the net profit to the GDP ratio, right? We have a profit to GDP ratio has crossed 5%. And this is the highest in the last 15 years, right? The profit to GDP ratio, we are at a very, very high ratio now. So all these signify that we are expanding or that we are growing at a very good growth rate. And if you look at the recent IPOs, right? We have also been seeing many IPOs coming up in the capital market, digital related companies, semiconductors, AI related IPOs are also we are expecting. And even in October 2025 also, we have seen many companies coming up in the platform related businesses as well. Startups are exploding. And even we have been seeing more courses in the college curriculums also related to AI, semiconductors, space, bioengineering. So these are addressing all the emerging industry trends, right? Now looking at political and strategic implications, right? Strategic implications. If we need to discuss one on energy independence, yes, many companies are investing into nuclear, even into renewables like Adani Green and Tata Power. Battery storage wise, India is focusing more on energy security, reducing its dependence on fossil fuels. And technology wise, we are moving into the semiconductor development, AI capabilities, and even supply chain risks and technologies. Globally, we are partnering with majority of the global players in terms of chips, semiconductors as well. And on the policy priority, yes, like even the GST implication, which has recently had GST 2.0, that's a very good move that helps majority of the sectors also to emerge. And there is a very good political stability when you compare to the past. Now there is a very good stability. And now why we call Indian market as on the verge of the bull market is because things are different now, right? Government is backing with a strong policy. Subsidies are coming out. Even if you look at PLI schemes, production linked incentive schemes in semiconductors, even in EMS theme, electronic manufacturing services related, we have been seeing a lot of subsidies, a lot of PLI schemes. And even infrastructure wise, yes, there is a very good spending happening. Private capital, yes, there is a massive domestic and international investment coming in. Even if you look at PSU banking sector, sooner or later, the FII holding in PSU banks, there is a discussion happening from increasing the present levels of 20% to 49%. That opens up more, right? That opens up the entire PSU banking sector as well. Talent density, right? Maybe thanks to Mr. Trump regarding the H1B visa, that will also force the cream brains of India to stay within, right? And India's engineering and research talent is now being deployed locally, which will help all these cream brains of India also to use more resources within India and develop. Market size 1.4 billion people fuel robust domestic demand. And whoever are not aware, right now, if you see in India, 65% of the population are less than 35 years, right? So this is a very, very important data pointer. If 65% of the population in India is less than 35 years, see the kind of a working professionals we have, the kind of a domestic demand, and the kind of a consumption story we have. Consumers are more, right? And the spenders are also more. This is like a classic combination, right? So the market size is huge. Cost advantage, yes, definitely we have the efficiency improving because of the value chain development, right? So the long term, yes, we are in a clear generational wealth creation. The question is whether are you ready to capture it, or are you well prepared to capture this? And as I have been telling you, PSU banking sector, one of the sector where it has been undervalued for many years, and one sector where on the valuation side is very decent is PSU banking. And if you see the kind of a transformation happening in PSU banking, it's not only digital transformation, right? The modernization digitally, yes, it's picking up. The ecosystem is improving. If you look at NPS, the non-performing assets, the cleaning of books is improving far better than even the private banking sector as well, right? Infrastructure, yes, banking is the backbone of the Indian economy. And even as I just covered a couple of minutes before, if the FII exposure into the Indian PSU bank is raised from 20% to 49%, even the Indian banks would be, the asset book will be increasing, so that if they want to lend to a foreign player a larger loan amount, a single bank will be able to do that, right? The stability in the banks will improve more. And most importantly, the economic multiplier will kick in, right? Will kick in. So banks, financial institutions, public sector owned banks, private sector banks are also well positioned to do good, right? To do good. And apart from all of these things, as there are more number of investors entering into the Indian market, your capital market related theme, your capital market related stocks, your wealth management firms, AMCs, right, or your platform related businesses will be the biggest beneficiaries. And in India, the domestic institutional investors are so strong that in September quarter, the DII's exposure into the NSE listed companies have surpassed your FII exposure, right? FIIs right now 16.71%, whereas DIIs are around 18.26%. And if you look at the demat accounts are doubling every 3 years, it is doubling, right? The AUM projection, assets under management by mutual funds are growing, right? And your equity inflows, the projection is like it's expected to grow by 5 times by 2035, right? There is a very good rising participation in the Indian stock market. The shift is happening, right? We call this as financialization of savings. Just to do a quick check, apart from the number discussion, if you have been hearing maybe like your maids or your watchman or your auto wala, someone who are like not much into the financial world, do not know much about investment, also talking to you about mutual funds, talking to you about stocks, is a trigger that yes, slowly we are moving out of traditional investments like fixed deposits, RD, to equity, stocks, mutual fund. This is called as financialization of savings. And just to give you with the numbers, the AUM, which is the assets under management, which was around 10 lakh crores, in the last 10 or 15 years, it has moved from 10 lakh crores to almost 75 lakh crores. So there is a growth, there is a huge growth potential in the capital market related investment as well. And it is slowly turning around, right? It's slowly turning around. So yes, right now, India is transforming, and we can call it as the world's biggest bull market in majority of the key sectors. The transformation which we are seeing is like huge, be it like PSU banking or even in the private banking, right? So combining PSU, private, like some of the key players like SBI, HDFC and ICICI, these three are like too big to fall kind of stocks, right? And capital market, wealth management related companies, as the number of demat accounts improve, as there are more number of investors entering into the stock market, these will be the beneficiaries. EVs, electrical vehicles, are the future. AI, artificial intelligence, right? Even we have like companies into the data center. We have proxy players of AI, right? E-commerce. In the next 12 months, next 18 months, the premiumization and consumption is rapidly expanding. And even as I told you with the number, 65% of the India's population, we have 35 years and below. That itself will take care of the consumption sector. Semiconductors players, right? Your defense, nuclear energy related, renewables, your biotechnology related companies, your biopharma, cyber security, all these sectors itself will add over 10 crore jobs, right? 10 crore jobs. So now the question is, are you ready to participate in the bull market? And analyzing a stock fundamentally, checking the quarterly, yearly growth is important. Similarly, analyzing the same company or the sector technically, when you combine fundamentals along with the technicals, that will result into a multi-bagger stocks, right? So now you let me know below, what is your thought process, whether India is in the bull run? What is your thought process for a long term, like next 10 years by 2035? What's your thought process? And what are the sectors, what are the stocks which will be beneficiary? Let me know below in the comments. And what is the next topic which we should go into deep dive, or what's that you want me to cover? You can also let me know in the comment section. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe right now. And if you have loved this content, like on it, so that this will be reaching to more number of people. Okay. So I hope everyone loved this discussion, and do not forget to let me know your thoughts in the comments. What are the sectors and stocks which you are positive, which you are bullish for a long term?